Hey, it's Aaron, the Metal Theologian. So, just happened to see Greeno's entry to my contest. I've gotten 2 entries so far. One from Nate Bouchard and one from Greeno. It's not too late. I'm thinking mid to late July. We're not going to do like a full 2 months or anything like that, but we'll give everyone time, the slow comers. And I actually have one automatic entry, actually. It gets an automatic entry by virtue of the fact that she's a woman. So, I'm going to offer it. I'm going to extend the offer. We haven't quite closed the loop. So, it's kind of unofficial, but that's kind of how it's going to get handled. Alright, anyway, and goatees are absolutely not okay. Just so you know. So, I was watching the video. My wife was in the room. I was like, hey, check it out. Greeno shaved off his beard. He just has a mustache. And my wife looks at the fucking thing and goes, he looks ridiculous. And you look ridiculous. And that's what this contest is about. That's why I said that a lot of people probably won't have the balls to do it. Because if you're not willing to look a little ridiculous and make a fucking epic video like this, then that's the way it is. But I'm feeling inspired because, like I said, I just watched the Greeno video and it's all about 70s shit. You know what I mean? He's talking about the fucking 70s hard rock. He's talking about the soul jazz. And you want to know something that fucking great 70s hard rock and great fucking soul jazz have in common? Is fucking great mustaches. So there you fucking go, alright? So, right now what we're going to do is, we're going to bust open this cream soda. Now, I opened a maple cream soda by this company the other day. It's the Quamsco Beverages cream soda. They're celebrating 151 years, made in New Hampshire. And I actually wasn't really crazy about that maple one, but it's kind of fucked up. I got a bunch of root beers. And it's been so fucking hot and humid here in Charleston that, I don't know, even a root beer seems too goddamn heavy, so. It's not bad. It's better than the maple shit, I think. It's hard to say, because the maple shit wasn't really that bad. But fuck, this angle looks weird. Fuck it. I don't know, it's okay. It's fruitier than cream soda usually is. There's a fruity overtone to it. I don't really know what to say about that, but it's yeah, it's alright, man. But for what these things cost, I don't think I'd get it again. You know what I mean? I'm gonna spend $2 or $3 or whatever this thing cost on a fucking soda. I kinda want a little more for my money than this. Yeah, it's worth a try though. It tastes really sort of mineral watery too. It's just kinda light. It's kinda, and of course, light is a euphemism for weak. Sometimes that's not really true. Sometimes soda will be it'll be light and refreshing. This is just sort of light and mineral watery or something. I don't know. Anyway, here's one that you can all be jealous about. Check this shit out. Just snagged this bad boy. I actually used to have this a long time ago, but not in this great shape. This is the first Moxie, and if you look at that, it's actually not my camera or your thing, but this thing has no ring wear. Check out the condition of this bad boy. In fact, the cover's actually still in the shrink, so if you look close, you might see a little bit because there's a little bit of impression on the shrink. But look at that shit. Yeah, you can kind of see the impression on the shrink, but this cover's perfect. And that's not a cut either, that's just some shit on the shrink wrap too, so. Got a really nice copy of this. Sure lucked into it, got it from a friend. Kind of paid a premium for that one actually, because the condition is just so killer. But because of that, I got this one for free. And this is actually the only one I've listened to so far. I haven't played the furthest one yet. I haven't had the balls to, but I just listened to this one earlier today, and I gotta say, man, I really enjoyed this shit. But I recognize this record as a record you could listen to and just fall completely in love with. And so I kind of feel like this is one that sort of really dig it. I'm going to have to revisit it from time to time. One of these days I'm just going to have that moment where it just clicks, and it's just going to be fucking perfect. Because there's just something so endearing about that. It's actually kind of happy for my taste, Moxie. Although right when I was thinking that on this record, it got to the 4th song or something that was kind of dirgy. And I was like, well, there I go. They kind of read my thoughts, so. I also grabbed this one, actually. I got this at a record shop in Columbia. I was kind of on the fence about this Brian Auger. I should have another record not too long ago. I was kind of struggling with it. And Same kind of thing with this one. I think I kind of figured out what the deal is, what my deal is with these guys, which is that the color of this reminds me a lot of the early Blue Oyster Cult records. Okay, the instrumentation's different, but as far as how it's produced, the color kind of reminds you of that, if that makes sense. And I don't know, I think it kind of presses a little bit of a happy button, even though all things being equal, I'm not really crazy about this, because it's kind of wussy, and actually kind of sounds more like the Eagles or something like that than like fucking Blue Oyster Cult. And that's like the F word when I say the Eagles, you know, that's just like, you know. Except it's really not that bad. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just kind of like, it's just not that fucking great. I don't know, man. You know, I guess we all have some records that we can kind of hack for some reason or another, even though they're not really all that great. So that's one of them for me, I suppose. Here's another one I was stoked to find. I actually saw this at a record show, and then Scott showed it and started eating at me. So I got myself a copy of this bad boy. It's from my dealer friend, actually, same place the Moxie records came from. But yeah, I think if you're in the UK, you're probably going. And if you're in the States, you know exactly what's special about this. So I'll just leave it at that, except to point out there's no barcode on this bad boy too, which of course makes it extra epic, but does, however, remind us that home taping is killing music. Yeah, because of course that's why the record labels are in such bad shape. It's not because they ripped off the artist, it's your fault, because you were home taping music, dick, you see? Alright, moving on to a little jazz shit. Yeah. So I was kind of very pleasantly surprised to find this bad boy for $1, because I'd been keeping an eye out for this record. I'm a pretty big fan of Ike Quebec. He's like an old, like, big band guy, and I don't really know his really early stuff that well, but I discovered his Blue Note record, It Might As Well Be Spring. And it's really just all ballads. It's really kind of a schmaltzy record, but his tone is just so earthy and just so fucking awesome. And the songs on that record were just so great that I was kind of trying to find his other Blue Notes. So I do have one other one. I don't remember which one it is. I remember what the cover looks like. I can't remember the title, so I'll just leave it going. But I was looking for the other ones, and this was one of them, Soul Samba. I got this for $1. Frankly, it's in the kind of condition where you'd expect for $1. And in fact, let me see if it shows up. It's pretty fucking rough, is the reality. Of course, I saw this thing for $1, and I was like, I don't care if there's no record in there. I'll buy it for $1. But, is that showing up at all? Nah, not really. Well, trust me, this record is pretty trashed. But, you know, I'm kind of relieved, because the bottom line is, I actually listened to this on YouTube once before, and I thought it was kind of nice. But listening to it again, the fucking bossa nova angle on this sounds every bit as gimmicky as it does with the, on that, like, Getz Gilberto shit, and that sort of thing. I don't really understand this whole fad. I mean, maybe if I were 20 years old, or the whole, like, 50s, or whenever it was, maybe early 60s, the whole, like, bossa nova fad thing would make more sense to me, but I don't get it. I think it's fucking corny, and yeah, I like this record a lot less than I expected to, which makes me doubly glad that I didn't go out and spend, you know, $50 on a reissue that was in nice shape. So I'll take my $1 copy, and I'm sure it'll be just fine for as often as I'm going to play it. This record, on the other hand, is one that I've been needing for a while, but actually haven't gotten. This is Black Pearls by Coltrane. And this is, yeah, it's weird that I'm missing any of his records. I'm actually missing a few. It's 3 songs. Donald Byrd on trumpet on this one, and then Red Garland, Paul Chambers, and Art Taylor. But yeah, if you're a Donald Byrd guy from early on, there you go. Yeah, this is actually one of the better records from his sort of Sheets of Sound period, if you're interested in that, sort of the transitional period. Well, one of his many fucking transitional periods. But the only records I really have with that sound are this one and then a bootleg called Miles Davis and John Coltrane Live at Stockholm. And it's just, it took me a while to sort of get my head around what he was doing during this period. But I've really come to dig it a lot. This is actually, well, I don't know, man. Fucking I say this is a favorite Coltrane record. I mean, it's really any of them, so. I'm not even going to go there because it's kind of a dumb thing to say. I will say, however, that I really like these 70s Lionel Hampton records. And came across a couple more of these Brunswick ones. I found this one actually just earlier today here in town. And this one.
Happy Father's Day.
Oh, thanks.
I was too sleepy to say it.
So, yeah, and then this one too, which I just whacked the shit out of. These are actually both white label promos too, so just like the other one was that I showed a while ago. But yeah, they're kind of corny Lionel Hampton records. I don't know, I really like his earlier stuff, but they just fit into that whole like sort of 70s thing. I really like the 70s, like just what the 70s did for Lionel Hampton. So, all right, now this is one of my favorite soul jazz ones. This was like, if this would have been the shape that the fucking the I Quebec record was in, I would have been bummed. But this one, I was really happy to find. I actually found this in the wild in Colombia for about a quarter of what I usually see it going for online, and I about jumped for joy. This is I really like Freddie Roach anyway. He's just a hell of an organist. Like 60s soul jazz stuff, and man, you can't argue with that cover. That right there is worth the money, right? But this record just smokes too. I just fucking love it. I have that one. The only other one I have is actually that reissue of Good Move from a few years ago, and that's a great record too. So there are a couple others I also need, but I was really happy to find that. So I think I'm gonna wrap this up with well, here we go. He just died, so I had to fill in a hole. You know what I mean? I actually got another one too. I'm just showing this one right now. And this one, you know, if you have Shape of Jazz to Come and This Is Our Music, you really need those before you need this one. Change of the Century, too. This one he was still kind of finding his way a little bit. I was interested in this one because it actually has a Shelly Manne on it. On drums, which kind of tripped me out a little bit. I didn't realize he had played with them. But it still kind of sounds more, even though it doesn't have a piano, it still sounds more like the other record on, what was it, Contemporary? And not quite as set on the path, if you know what I'm saying. I mean, you can hear it's Ornette playing, but, you know, just like you can on something else. But those are just, even though they're really cool records, it's just not like the sort of prime, like perfect sounding Ornette that you get on those other Atlantic ones. So that's it for now. That was actually my mother-in-law wishing me Happy Father's Day a couple minutes ago, so I guess Happy Father's Day to any other dad, too. And, that's why I let it run. Of course, you know, one take anyway, but there we go. So thanks for watching, and right on, actually. Right on. Cheers. There we go.